Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, and guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. This is stream number 21 for anybody that is going to be watching on the playlist and looking at this later on. Shout out to everybody that's coming in the building. We're going to get going here just shortly. Guys, if somebody can just type in the comments and let me know if the stream looks good, because the Wi-Fi signal for some reason is low today. Just to FYI to everybody, there is a massive storm that has been blowing through East Tennessee. It has caused a fire that was out towards Sevierville and Pigeon Forge out that way. It's been causing all sorts of home damage. The electricity's went out. I mean, it's been some crazy stuff here in the past 24, 48 hours. If everybody can let me know, is it my audio or Luke's? That's what I'm asking, guys. Is the Wi-Fi signal okay? Because like I said, we've had all sorts of issues all around the area. And like I said, electricity went out too here. Fuzzy. Okay. Hopefully the stream will straighten up here in a little bit. Just let me know, guys. We'll get going. So what we're going to be discussing tonight is going to be a fire stream. I am telling you what we're going to be talking about. It's going to probably be offensive to people in some capacity. Not only offensive because it's truth, but because of the depth of like how I'm breaking it down. Thank you for letting me know on the audio and the video, guys. Let me know if something happens with this. I do not want this messed up because I've spent a week straight working on this presentation for tonight's stream. A shout out, Brother Tim. See you in the building tonight. So real quickly, guys, I'm going to go through the notes. A shout out to our channel affiliates, and I'm going to try to get this thing going within the first 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes like I always do. So here we go. Disclaimer: information, content, guests, and their views are not necessarily reflective of the views of this channel. As far as fair use goes, content is being shared on here for information, educational, and edification purposes and intents. Now, next week, Brother Wes Blaze, y'all will be on here with me. I checked with him today. We're still on target for that. Tomorrow is going to be a special stream with me only on here because we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be celebrating the new year, for one, for those that's keeping the Father's lunisolar scriptural biblical calendar. If you don't know about it and want to learn how to use that, here's a great app to help learn that right there. World's Last Chance Calendar app. It's a free app you can download and store either for Apple or Android devices. Also, let me see. Tomorrow, if you want to, in the meantime, hit me up. You can email me with any questions, comments you'd like to share for tomorrow's shows, and suggestions. I'm going to be going over that tomorrow. It'll be pretty much, this is for everybody that watches the show. Tomorrow is really about just networking with everybody, their comments, suggestions for the show moving forward. And if you have questions that you want answered, that haven't been addressed in the show already and stuff, let me know. There's an opportunity to, get that out there, and we'll dedicate some streams or et cetera to it this year. Also, email me for guest speakers. Make sure to email me right there at that email address. If you want guest speakers on, if there's a topic, by all means, guys, this is the opportunity to hit me up, especially tomorrow's show is dedicated to that. Absolutely glad to be a help. Thank you for introducing me to that calendar. You are most welcome. I hope that it is a blessing to you. With that said, guys, please make sure, I'm going to go ahead and throw the banner up as always. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you would like to help financially support the show, you can do so. The links are in the video description below. Lastly, couple things is I want to send a shout out for this event coming up. I'll be speaking at it. It is an online event right here. Let me get that up here, guys. Sorry, I have so much stuff to share. I'm trying to get through it quickly tonight. United in Y'all's doing this, a Battle Cry event. You can check that out on those dates. Link for it should also be in the video description below. If it's not, I will get it updated by tomorrow morning. Also, right here, we have, I'll be speaking at that. I just don't know at what time, but I will be talking about the last days and that prepping for the last days. And I believe that leaves two things is the date will be announced, hopefully here in about the next month, for the prayer meetup at the Georgia Guidestones, that event that I talked about a while back that I want to do about bringing down the New World Order, praying against it, the Georgia Guidestones, what's the New World Order's 10 Commandments wrote on it. I want to see the Most High do a miracle and just wipe that place off face the earth. So I'm very intent about doing a meetup down there and having a prayer meetup over that. And I will let you guys know when that comes up. The only last thing I have to share is I want to say a shout out to our channel affiliates. Guys, if you haven't checked out Faraday, the links in the video description below. Guys, EMP with all the stuff going on and nuclear war, very clear potential these days. If you haven't got your gear to protect your cell phones, electronics, important equipment, things like that, you can definitely check them out. Like I said, with the fires that's going on right now, oh my goodness. I mean, you want to talk about smoke. It looks like when the Gatlinburg fires were here in East Tennessee a few years ago. And with that said, if you haven't checked out Mirror Safety, guys, they've got all sorts of personal protective equipment for nuclear, biological, chemical, and radiological. I will be doing a review video on their equipment here soon, getting that up so you can see that as well. Anything you get from them also helps to go support the channel. So very much appreciated. All right, real quickly, I'm going to read through a couple comments here, and then we're going to go straight into the presentation. And guys, I don't know, this might be an hour. This might be an hour and a half presentation. It might be 2 hours. I've got 16 points that I want to cover. I've had about 14 of them affect me in my life. So I mean, like, it's not just like Pastor Luke might be in the building tonight. All right. Like I might go into pastor mode tonight, like shepherd mode, because like, I'm telling you, like, this is some serious stuff we need to be prepared for. All right. So let's see what some folks said here in the building. Bad weather along the coast of Florida to New York. Yeah. These winds have been crazy, guys. Somebody said, really looking forward to the battle cry. Yeah, I think that'll be great. J.D. Israel said, shared Matthew 24:14, this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. And then the end, shall the end come? Catholicism has been preached for years. Why are we not at the end? Break it down. Well, for one, that's the great whore Babylon. The real truth, they've tried to conceal it. But that we can break down here at a little later point. Now, guys, we're going to get started on this. I want to say this real quickly. If at any point this stream lags in the Wi-Fi tonight, okay, I want somebody to point it out immediately. All right. Secondly, is that as I go through this, the first portion of this is going to be some of those things that I said back when about a stream I done a couple streams ago, I think it was. I said some of these things that's in this as honorable mentions. So a couple of these might be a refresher to some people, but like, this is in full context at this point in time. Okay. So going into it, the very first thing that you might lose to earn the crown of life and to make it in the eternal kingdom, because we're going to lose things in this life trying to walk out the truth and the way of y'all, is you're probably going to lose your marriage. Take it from somebody that's been dropped off at the family courthouse pay window. Okay. Until you've been divorced and have alimony, child support, all that's everything you've worked for is washed away overnight. You can't speak to this. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful to pastors, especially when they try to speak to their congregation. But if there's one person that can speak to divorce, it should be a man that believes and has walked out the truth and has been divorced. He can definitely speak to that, and I can. Okay. Now, we live in a generation where people have fundamentally forgot what relationships are about, what marriage is about. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there is websites that literally exist this day. So that people can link up and engage in the act, if y'all understand what I'm saying, to keep it clean, because I know people have their children watch this show as well as adults. So I try to keep this clean in here, okay, and not profane. But literally, I don't understand why people act sideways in relationships anymore, because people literally, we live in a hookup culture. And so if a woman wants a man that's really going to be good to her, provide for her, provide a family, I don't understand, especially now living in the wild, wild west 2.0, because we don't have saloons, brothels on every street corner anymore, but the websites that's out there facilitate this type of behavior. So like, if you really wanted a partner to love and have something, build something meaningful with, I do not understand why at the point in time we're living in, people are acting as crazy as they are, men and women. But with that said, the scripture teaches a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. But when it comes to walking out the truth and the way, what happens is many of us probably have married, before we came into the truth, or we were believers, but we didn't really come to the way, right? Yet we still had a lot of pillars of truth to learn and walk out of Babylon. And sometimes our partners were unequally yoked, and they said they were just going to dip out. And so you got dropped off family courthouse pay window. And so, scripture speaks to this, says, if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. And that's exactly what happens. When a house gets divided, it falls apart. And especially we can speak to marriages with this especially. And that's why I came right out of the gate with one of the hardest hitters. This affects multiple people. Okay. Now this is one statistic that was out there that first marriages, if you get married today, 50%, you have almost 50% chance of going through a divorce. Like if I told you right now, you were going to walk out of the house and somebody was going to hit you with a car, you have a 50% chance the minute you walk out the door. Would you walk out that door? I'm just saying. Like, you got to really add this stuff up, folks. That's why I encourage prenup. It's why I encourage only marry somebody that believes in the Most High Yah and wants to keep the Torah, have faith in Messiah, and make it in the kingdom. Like, you've really got to get out of the flesh, and you got to think about this thing in the spirit. Now, this is 10 facts about divorce in 2021. This is as current as 2021. Number one, almost 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. Number two, marriage rate in the United States is currently 6.8 per 1,000 total population. Think about that. That's how few people are getting married now, because people's marriage is crazy anymore. They're just living in a hookup culture. Number three, the average age for couples going through their first divorce is 30 years old. Number four, wives are the ones who most often file for divorce at 66% on average. Think about that, gentlemen, and be very careful you don't put a Jezebel in your house, because you're going to lose your children. You're going to lose your home. You're going to lose your wallet. She's going to get that bag and run, and then you're going to be left stuck. I mean, this is some serious stuff to consider, everybody. And ladies, understand that there's some bad men out there, that they're drunkards and wife beaters and adulterers. And it goes both ways on this stuff, folks. But I'm going to go right down these 16 points tonight, gut wrenching, deep. All right. Number five, the divorce rate among couples where one spouse is in jail or prison for 1 year or more is 80% for men and close to 100% for women. Keep that statistic in mind for later as we move forward, because jail is one of my points on here today. Number six, divorced or widowed men are more likely to remarry than divorced or widowed women. Number seven, people are 75% more likely to end their marriage if a friend is divorced. This is why we get into another point. It's not good to keep bad company, because you put one bad apple in the batch and the rest of the batch will become bad. Number eight, 52% of single parents have been married at some point. That's, why? Because 80% of those 52% went and dropped the man off at the family courthouse pay window and dipped out, and then decided after they went back to the streets that it wasn't probably the best option. Number nine, according to 2012 U.S. Census Bureau statistics, New Jersey has the lowest divorce rate out of all 50 states. Apparently, New Jersey's the place to go, guys, if you want to have a lower chance of getting burned. All right, now moving on. Number 10 is really nothing to me. All right, now Isaiah 4:1. This is an important point to make, because in the day, today, always when I have a conversation with people, I talk about today. Okay, we're living in today. Isaiah 4:1 says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel, and only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Ladies and gentlemen, this is fast approaching. I am telling you, you'd have no idea how quickly we are humming up on this point in time. All right. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox with that one, and I'm gonna keep this moving. But that is the first point that I will almost guarantee you that many people that's listening to the sound of my voice right now, when you fully dedicate to the way, this may happen to you. Number 2, moving forward, your family. Let me tell you, skin folk ain't always kin folk. All right. Your family will be some of the worst people to betray you down the road. Look at the stories that happen to people in scripture. I mean, just think about what happened to Joseph. All right. Just think about that situation alone, folks. Scripture is very clear to this in the last days, especially Matthew 10:34-39 speaks to this. I'm using the King James Version throughout this presentation, guys, because I know a lot of people have not got a Hallelujah Scriptures Bible or Etherium. So when I use the King James Version, and I substitute some of the words for the set apart names and titles. I'm trying to be respectful of the Father, but I'm also trying to help those that's not in the know come up to the know. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. Let me repeat. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me, and he who does not take his stake, make sure to go into your Strong's Concordance and read that word. We're not talking about the cross of that false deity Tammuz. Messiah was on a stake. It says, and who does not take his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. All right. So Messiah, the anointed one, pretty much told you right there, the stuff is going to get really bad up in your house in the last days. Be prepared. All right. Number 3, your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, the few friends I have in my life, I love them like blood family. I try not to have a lot of friends around me. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have some people that when they call me, they're like blood family. All right. And the reason I do that is because, especially as a Sigma male, we don't like to take risks. Okay. Like every risk you take in life is calculated. All right. When you're a type of person like I am. And the more you put people in your circle, the more risk you have also of bad things happening to you, right? Spiritually, physically, mentally. And Proverbs 13:20 speaks this, says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. Be careful whom you keep company with. All right. Number 4. Now, I want to pause on this in a second. I'm going to tell you something. Just the few things I described right here, these first few points, will probably land a lot of people in the hospital at some point in time. Gray, it'll put gray in your beard. It'll cause heart attacks. It'll cause stress. It'll cause damage to your body. It'll cause sickness. And it all results from sin. And it also results from letting people into our life. You know, I'm surprised somebody ain't been in the comment section already tonight and be like, who hurt you, Luke? I'll tell you who hurt me. Myself. By letting these people into my life or not cutting them out of my life when I needed to. All right. That's who hurt me. And we're ultimately responsible in the end. And, you know, sometimes that takes years or decades to look back and reflect. And, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. But health, you have got to guard your health. Okay. Because a man will give all he has to regain his health. You know, people want to chase wealth their whole life. But then when they get sick, they give up all that to have their health back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not interested in getting rich. I want my health. And this is something we may have to deal with at some point is sickness and affliction, especially in the last days. And it's something you need to try to steer as far clear from as possible because we're in some perilous times. And trumpets ain't even popped off yet. Okay. 2 Ezra chapter 16 with the war that's coming in the Middle East hasn't even taken place yet. Like there is so much to come that we need to keep our health well. And right here it says, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you and fill up that which is behind of the affliction of Messiah in my flesh for his body's sake. All right. We all are going to go through affliction at some point. And it's something we need to understand that there's a lot of situations that will put us into this situation, not to mention many more points that's to come. But at some point, we're going to possibly be ill. And we need to be mindful of that and put our faith in the Father. All right. Number 5, moving forward. This right here will have to be given up for that crown of life. Most people are hung up on these petty holidays, pagan petty holidays, on the pagan, papal, Roman, Jesuit, Gregorian calendar. All right. Garbage. All right. This also stems to SAT day Sabbath, SUN day Sabbath, doing it off that papal pagan calendar. We've got to get back to new moons and Sabbath days calculated by the Father's lunisolar scriptural biblical calendar. All right. Now, with that said, we've got to give up the pagan holidays and we've got to get away from the people that do the pagan holidays and won't let go of, especially come to knowledge of truth on this, that they're all rooted in paganism. Because at the end of the day, The Most High does not approve of this behavior. Matter of fact, I mean, he just absolutely does not approve of this behavior at all. Matter of fact, if you want to just condemn the sea mass at the end of each year in the winter holiday, which is also the feast of Saturn, Saturn Lia, okay, which also used to be the feast to, oh man, I forgot what the Greeks called it. Oh, so sorry, guys. Anyway, you know, these pagan feasts, all right, that's been renamed. It says here, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. They always did these festivals and feasts and pagan holidays and stuff off of you know, signs in heaven, stuff like that, guys. All right. It says, for the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with axe. Goes on to talk about decks it with gold and nails, so fasten it so it can't be moved, etc. And people say, well, it's talking about making idols. Okay. Just FYI to everybody out there, let's take the pagan festival that everybody does in wintertime, right? Do you know what a wreath is a symbol of? A woman's sexual organ. Do you know what the tree is a symbol of? A man's sexual organ. All right. Once again, trying to keep this clean in here, but if we need to have sex ed class, I'll break this down for you. All right. This is some serious stuff, and the Most High does not approve of this. All right. Let me tell you what he does approve of. Or actually, I'm sorry, I got one more slide for you before we get that. If you think that this on the left-hand side is paganism and this is not on the right-hand side, the brainwashing is working well for you folks. Keep going to your pagan, Roman, churchianity institution. Just keep it humming. This is what the Most High actually approves of, is the Sabbath. All right? Actually, the new moon needs to be on there first, but you got the new moons, the Sabbath, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, First Fruits, Feast of Weeks, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles. These are what the Most High has set apart and has instructed us to worship on. And I assure you that at the end of the day, somebody's going to have to give an account on the record books of their life, why they didn't keep these, but made sure to go to church for the bunny egg pickup and for the fat red man at the end of the year. You know, they're going to have to give an account for all this. All right. So this is something that's going to have to be sacrificed and let go of, and that includes family members too. If they're going to keep trying to push this on you, you got to part ways with that. All right, number 6. If you've ever been given a pink slip in life, all right, and you've lost your job for trying to walk out the truth, don't worry about it. Now listen, I'm going to drag out my little soapbox. I'm going to get back up on it a minute. Now I'm about to say some things in here that people's going to say that I'm saying profanity. All right. I'm actually going to educate you on an etymology level today and show you just how far deep this goes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've worked jobs. I've lost jobs over trying to do the right thing, keep the truth. Jobs are replaceable. Let me tell you something. After Rona, there is so many jobs available right now for everybody anymore. You got your pick of the litter as long as you have work ethic and willing to work. Because, I mean, let's get it. Gen Z, they don't want to work. Gen X is getting old. And everybody else in between is either strung out on drugs, drinking, got some crazy stuff going on in their life. So you got a real good shot at getting a job anymore, right? So with that said, Colossians teaches work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for Yahuwah rather than for people. Now, this is what I tell people that I work for. This is my work ethic for my own business because I work and do off-grid construction for people, so I'm a private contractor. But I also now work an employed job. So, this is how I guide my life. But something you need to understand is when we talk about etymology, like I said, I'm about to say something here in just a second, and I want everybody to understand we're doing this. We're going on a decade of this channel running, and I don't curse on here. So please bear with me as what I'm about to say because it's going to come out as a curse word. And I want you to look at what I'm about to say and you'll understand differently. But first, I want to educate people so we're on the same page. What is a noun? The definition of a noun is simple. A noun is a person, a place, a thing, or idea. Now, I learned this today because I got another word right after it I actually want to cover, but this one's a bonus word. When people say that a job doesn't give a damn about you, that is actually a factual statement. Okay. Now let me break this down for you. Why? Now, some people use that as an expletive or etc. But if we actually, and I found this today, that number one actually means something of little value. Most jobs look at us as we aren't a damn, as if we are something of little value. Is that not astonishing? Like, I was like, all these time, these people been cursing and carrying on, and they don't know that in the actual etymology context of most employers, they actually are telling a truth. Ain't that crazy how that sometimes reality is stranger than fiction? Now right here's little Jane. I want to show you something. This is where the other word I'm actually going to share with you about a job is an adjective. Adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. So put everybody's name in as the noun, right? Or I'm sorry, we're pronoun, proper person. And Jane is a clever girl. Clever is an adjective, and it describes Jane, right? Well, let's put this in. Lucas is trivial to most employers. I am of little substance or significance. No one should ever prioritize work over Sabbath. No one should never prioritize their employer over their family. Nobody should ever let me tell you something. Jobs should be one of the least priorities in our life anymore. Furthermore, you should find ways to maximize yourself as a money-making resource and also build residual income so that you're not part of this crazy construct of calendarization system that's out there. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. The Roman Catholic Church plainly have it out there that the papal calendar is the mark of their authority. SUN worship explicitly. And so people's like, well, SAT day. I go to church on SAT day. So see, I'm not going along with Rome. It's still their calendar. It's still their count off. Start using the new moon and start keeping the Father's Sabbath by his new moons and his Sabbaths, just like Isaiah 66:23 is going to be done in the new kingdom. All right. And I'll put this slide in at this point in conjuncture because people literally will work the Sabbath and go to work instead of setting it apart for y'all. And here's what really irritates me is people that go to church on SAT day or SUN day, they can still hold it down out here in the world. They can still hold job down easy out here in the world. You know why? Because the Father's lunisolar calendar, if they actually kept it would actually be a conflict with their job. That's the thing. When you actually start doing it right, not like half doing it, but doing it right, it actually costs you something. All right. Now, this is what the master said. He said in Matthew 6:24, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Elohim and Mammon. So y'all put that in your thought process tonight and really think on that. Am I doing this thing right? Number 7. All right. So we're at the halfway mark here. Out of business. Now, sometimes when you come to the truth, you might be doing a business that's not walking in the way of y'all. Or you might be in a business that conflicts with, taking time off to worship the master. I'm going to tell you what, folks. Let me tell you firsthand from being a construction contractor for almost a decade. Do you know the busiest day of the week for me? Bar none, Sabbath. That's when people want an install. And listen, you know what the funny thing about it is? Now, this is what's really wild, all right? Now, keep in mind, I keep the Father's lunisolar scriptural calendar. So I keep the new moons, I keep the Sabbaths, and that floats through the Roman calendar. It does not matter when the new moon is or Sabbath is. I'm telling you what, it could be. It could fall on like TH days that month. That'll be the day of the week everybody pays for their parts at the vendor and wants to call and make sure I'm out there at the job site the next week or something. I kid you not. So this is something you do have to work around if you are working for the Father or you're trying to keep the Father's commandments, but you're also working for yourself. Now, you do have to learn to deal with people and to filter this out because it'll happen. I'm telling you, it'll happen. Take it from somebody that's been doing this for almost a decade and like I'm going on 12, 13 years in the truth, but as a business person going on like 10 years and, we're creeping up on it. Was it 8 or 9 years? Anyway, it's almost a decade at this point. And it's like, I'm telling you, this is a consistent problem. So you just have to understand that, when you do come to the truth and you are trying to walk out the way in the truth, even at some point you might have to give up your business if it's in conflict with keeping the Father's walk. So something to keep in mind, be vigilant about. All right. Number 8, health insurance, car insurance. I can keep going. When you start sacrificing things and start having to cut this and that loose, sometimes perks are attached to things like jobs. A lot of people work their job just for their health insurance. Why? Because health insurance is ridiculous. And I really blame Obamacare for it. I'm not political, but like the minute Obamacare became a thing, it has been an absolute downhill slide to the depths of hell with the health insurance thing. And it's something we've got to start putting our trust in the Most High Yah than with employers and with healthcare providers. I mean, well, that's another thing. I don't know why people want to serve their employer to a fault when sometimes employers don't offer insurance, they don't offer time off, they don't offer any incentives, they don't offer you nothing. You're just going into the meat grinder. It's like almost going to the military every day. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to our veterans, but you'll hear veterans talk about how terrible they were treated and they're just meat for the grinder. Like, I don't understand why the people want to serve their employers and stuff to a fault, to where the point where that like they ain't even really a benefit in return on stuff like that. Celio, I did get your email. I just hadn't heard back from the other brother about when you guys want to set that up, because now I'm ready to link up on that. It'll probably be the following month though, because I've got a bunch of people lined up, for this month. But brother, I'll be thrilled to get that going. I got your last email, I think. But anyways, guys, that's something to keep in mind. Like, at some point, we're probably going to be hung out to dry with not having insurance, because we're trying to walk out the truth in the way. Number 9, you lose your home. Let me tell you what. I have had an eviction notice put on my house. Let me tell you this story. I got divorced. I lost my house. Oh, actually, before I go further into this story, I want to back up a second. Essential oils, colloidal silver, eat healthy, don't eat profane things, exercise. There's a lot of ways to have the Most High take care of you. Just saying, detox. All right. Now, anyway, so went through a divorce, lost my house. Then I had my tiny home. So I get my tiny home set up. I'm not even going to go into who got this done to me. But I come in one day to my tiny house that I was living in at the time. And then there's an eviction notice on the door for my tiny house. So I can't stay in it because somebody got me on a code issue. So I've experienced this situation. And I'm telling you that once you start trying to walk out the truth and the way, it's going to be a struggle at times, especially financially. And this may result in having to downsize or lose your home. And it sucks, folks. Let me tell you, I've been homeless pretty much almost for a hot minute. Now, some people was homeless like for a lot. And it is not a fun thing. I don't want to be living up under a bridge. But, I hate to tell you this, but like probably before this thing is said and done, a lot of us probably going to have to be camping out in the woods, living under a bridge, struggling to survive. Because, look at what happened to the apostles. Look what they done to Messiah. And you think we're all going to just get a pass in the last days? Oh, my goodness. Scripture talks about that a time of trouble is coming up on the earth that has never been since the world was created, nor never will be again. Let that sink in. Let that simmer in the pot for a minute, okay? So I'm just telling you, like, losing your home, it needs to be a clear possibility in your mind this might happen some point down the line. Because now I'm going to tell you this one. A lot of people are like, well, my home's paid off. Hey, I live in a house that's paid off, praise y'all. But what happens when they tell you, well, you didn't take the mark in the hand, so you can't come down here and pay your property taxes up? And we know you paid your property taxes up for 2 years in advance, but now those 2 years have expired and we're not letting you in without the mark. And no, you can't pay online. Now what you going to do? Then they're going to come seize your house, and then it is game over. All right. So guys, I'm just telling you, I know a lot of this maybe sounds so negative, but I'm telling you these things so that you might be prepared, so that when they do happen, it's not a shock to you. All right. And Matthew 19:29-30 speaks this. And everyone that has forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I'll be honest with you. In the new kingdom, I could just have me a little hobbit house on the hillside by a creek. And nice little peaceful place in a valley. I'll be thrilled in the new kingdom if I can have eternal life. See, let me tell you something, folks. There will be no utopia in this life right now that we're in. Okay. Let me tell you for why. Number one is it requires money to live in this world right now. There's a commerce required. Secondly, you don't have eternal life in this world currently. And so everyone's striving to accomplish as much as they can in the lifetime they have right now, because to them, some people, that's the only life they're ever going to have. And real quickly, I want to read this. Somebody said, we're giving up our jobs, health insurance, all our friends and family already calling us nuts. Yep. This is exactly what happens sometimes. Somebody said this exactly why the master says, never lay up treasures on earth. We are to strengthen our spiritual walk with Messiah. That's right. I love my books. I love adventures. Very few things material matter to me anymore. Somebody said, praying for strength and courage to stand. Absolutely. Somebody said, you're telling that. All right. So Foster said you were telling us true. Appreciate you, brother. Somebody said, got to build up that faith constantly. Hashatan is all about distractions. That's right. Let me tell you something. If you all ever want to know if you're doing something right, the more and more chaos that comes into your life is you would not believe, guys, since I picked back up doing the Hard Truth Show, the chaos that has went on in my life in the background. And I just don't say nothing about it on here or whatever, but it has been insanity since I've started back on the Hard Truth Show doing this. Somebody said, would you be willing to have a guest from your area? Sure. Hit me up, guys. If it's something valid topic and stuff, be glad to chop it up, with folks. But anyway, guys, giving up your home and losing it for the kingdom, like I'm telling you, it's something you better be prepared to lose. All right. Now here is, I'm sorry, my slide went very quickly there. Number 10, bankruptcy. Guys, I have went through bankruptcy. It sucks. I've experienced this one time in my life. I never want to experience it again. Number one leading cause of bankruptcy also is medical debt. That was exactly what led to me having to file bankruptcy a year, 10, 11 years ago. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Please keep in mind, though, that later down the road, now I'm not encouraging people to run down the bankruptcy court office, all right? This is not legal advice. It's not financial advice. This is just information I'm sharing right now, okay? Do what you want. We'll call this for entertainment purposes only, right? Is later down the road, this might actually be an out for a lot of us, because who knows what the world and Satan is going to pile upon us, and we have to use the system against the system, because, ladies and gentlemen, be not deceived. This country we live in, it's a corporation. America's a corporation. It doesn't care about us, okay? Jobs don't care about you. Corporations don't care about you. The only person that's going to ever care about you in your life, to be honest with you, is yourself, all right? And the Most High, if you're keeping his commands. I'm just being honest with you. All right, this is called the Hard Truth Show for a reason. All right, because you want your stuff on here you ain't never heard other places, most likely. Somebody said right here, my brother-in-law says I live on a compound and drink Kool-Aid. Well, you can tell him obviously that ain't correct, because if you drunk the Kool-Aid and were crazy like the dude that gave people the Kool-Aid and passed, you'd be dead. So obviously you're not dead, so you're not drinking the Kool-Aid. So you can tell them they're in error with that. All right, but bankruptcy, just want to hammer in on this for just a second, is the thing with it is later down the road, if there starts to be fines imposed upon us for not giving into the B system and a lot of other things, or they try to take this and that or whatever from you, like there's certain ways you can put certain things into a trust and this here and that there and insulate things and LLC this and that, and then bankrupt out and just walk away. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. If you owe somebody, try to pay it back, be done with it. I don't want to owe nobody nothing but to love them. But I'm just saying, we don't know what's around the corner. But this is also something you may have to face before this thing is said and done. And it is a clear possibility that many may go through it. And here is a great point right here. Ezekiel Gonzalez says, do not let money enslave you. Absolutely. All right. Next up, absolutely right. There's a good point too. Stay strong. Stay strong. Don't be drugged down by all this. All right, guys. Scripture talks about Matthew 5 says, blessed are the poor in spirit. Actually, Baruch are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Shemayim. Baruch are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And Baruch are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Do not be like these puffed up crazy people out here in this world, folks, running around trying to get their bag, trying to get that dollar bill, trying to hold on to everything materialistic. Let me tell you what, that dirt nap is coming for all of us, just like it has for the others down through the ages. And then after that, there is a judgment for all of us, and there is no escaping it. Share this comment right here real quickly. You are so on point. Thank you for teaching the truth. Absolutely, guys. Glad, honored to be here with you. Number 11. All right, we're moving along. Now, I cannot tell you how many opportunities I've lost in this life for walking out the truth, because it was either going to require me to work on Sabbath, or it was going to require me to violate this principle, and it was going to require me to dishonor the Father here and that. And, you know, when I weighed up the cost, I'm like, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Even if, you know, I don't care what it benefits me later. It's not worth it today, because I know the cost it's going to cost me later. And when you look at the world today, everybody's trying to ask you to go this way or that way or the other way. You know, heck, even Mando over here on The Mandalorian saying this is the way. I'm sorry, the way of the Mandalorian's not the way either, Mando. I hate to break it to you. But Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Luke 13:23, then said one unto him, Master, are there few that be saved? And he said unto them, strive to enter in at the strait gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. Ecclesiastes 12:13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man. John 14:6, Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also, and from henceforth ye know him and have seen him. Now, I want to point something out right here, guys, because a lot of people go into this whole Trinity doctrine thing. And what you got to understand with that is, in ancient times, when, say, somebody was sent as a representative of a kingdom to somewhere to represent that kingdom on behalf of the king, you were to receive them as if you received the king themselves, okay? And so that's an important concept to understand, because when people read this, I think they dive into that Trinity doctrine, and that's not the path to go down. Just saying, Messiah also taught everyone to worship the Father. Now, Revelation 12:17 says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Messiah, Yahushua Messiah. All right. Furthermore, Revelation 14:12. Here is the patient of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yahushua. 22:14. Baruch are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. So I can show you right here the number one opportunity we all should seize. And the number one priority should be keeping the commandments and having faith in Messiah. This right here, great point. Sorry, give me just a second, guys. So many comments coming in here. Says right here, the devil comes dressed as the loveliest things. Yeah, guys, I don't look for, somebody said, the devil's demon horn, stuff like that. No, she's like, he would come to you as like the most beautiful woman you'd ever wanted, right? Like the 10. He would come to you as the best job ever. Somebody offering you the best job ever. He would come to you as the person bringing you the best opportunity ever. Like, I don't understand where we get so hung up on this stuff, because Satan knows what to do to tug at people's heartstrings. And keep in mind, the heart is terribly wicked, deceitful above all things, right? Right here, somebody said, easily fitting in is most likely a sign we are not walking the way. Absolutely. The further you're on the fringe of society and you can find what you're doing is right in Scripture, tells you definitely doing the right thing. Right here, nothing matters but your belief and trust in the Most High. And if you follow his commands, he will call you a stranger if you don't seek who he is. It's a matter of eternal life in his kingdom. It's right, guys. All right, here's another great one. Because I have lost everything several times over and I'm about to lose it all again, but count it all joy to struggle for the name of Yah's truth. Yeah, guys, I'm going to tell you, everybody that I've ever met, almost down the line, that has tried to serve the Father and do the right thing, I've seen them struggle so much. And it's not because that the Most High don't love them. It is because this world is trying to tear those of us that love the Master down as much as possible. Number 12, we're moving right along. I think we might have the show in at an hour tonight, guys. Number 12 is clean and unclean things. This is something you're going to have to give up for the kingdom. Guys, sorry, give me just 1 second here. Just 1 second. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So when it comes to clean and unclean foods, that's one thing about doing a live stream. It ain't like you can cut and paste or chop this up. Like, sorry about that, guys. So anyways, clean and unclean foods. When it comes to eating things, understand that when you eat unclean foods, they're not for you to eat. Okay. Like people want to eat swine. It is a trash compactor. It is a cleanup device. It is not a food product. Okay. Just like eating shrimp. When you look at a cockroach, you look at a shrimp, their job is to clean things up on the bottom of the sea floor. They all have a function, okay? But those things that are made to eat are made to eat. It's so simple. And I don't understand why. I don't know if it's a spirit of obstinance. I don't know what it is, because here's the thing that kills me, okay? Just hear me out for just a second, okay? People that eat unclean food have heart conditions, health conditions, sickness, and death. People that eat clean and try to live righteously have good health. They look young. They live a good life despite all the other dramas they go through. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't get it, man. It's like, you're fighting Yah to kill yourself. Like you're literally fighting against the Most High to put yourself in an early grave and not live out the time that was a lot of tear up on this earth. I don't know. It's one of the craziest things I ever seen with people. Like, and furthermore, I just don't desire to eat some of the nasty stuff that's out there. And Leviticus chapter 11, all you got to do is go over to Leviticus and read it. I mean, like, it's pretty well broke down and stupid proof. And I don't mean no disrespect to anybody, but it's like after that point, like if you actually look at the things the Most High says not to eat, and then you go look at the health side effects of eating that garbage. And then you look at the things the Most High says to eat, and you look how it doesn't hurt you, right? As long as eat in moderation. It's like, why not do it? So I'm just saying, like, it would be like buying a car and you get the manual from the manufacturer, how to change the oil, and you go get another car's auto manual and try to fix your car off that. Somebody said right here, why use a twisted Bible? Folks, like I said, the Hallelujah Scriptures, Etherium, great resource to go off of. A lot of people coming in these live streams, this might be the first time they've ever heard truth, and all they've ever probably known is the KJV Bible, or far worse, the NIV. And so I am trying to bring people up to speed to a level where we all can be iron sharpen iron. And so that's why that I go off the KJV. Right here, excellent point. Somebody said you must also be wary of public restaurants. They may use the same grease to cook unclean foods with clean foods. Absolutely. Excellent point. That's why we should also cook our own food. Yeah, right here, guys. Excellent on point. No sweat glands in pigs and then scavenger birds and bottom sea dwellers. You have to look into every ingredients. A lot of things you think are clean have poor kidney and other ingredients. Yeah, enzymes. Look, like in cheese. The other day I bought some cheese. It was vegetable rennet, vegetable enzymes or whatever, or something like that. You got to understand that there's shady stuff, how they put it in there. Oh my gosh, I wish Abby was in here right now. She could break this stuff down, like monodiglycerides. Oh man, what is it? A gelatin in gummies and in medicines. I mean, guys, you got to be really, really, really smart about this stuff. Really careful. But anyway, let's see. Somebody said some people think they are cool or tough when they eat that garbage. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Somebody said, did you say the Hallelujah Scriptures Bible? Yes, the Hallelujah Scriptures Bible at Severe, they're great resources to go off of. All right. Now, number 13, we're moving along here. Number 13, this is a big one. People just can't lose social status, and no disrespect, and I don't want to, what is the word? Misogynistic, I guess would be the word. I don't want to sound misogynistic, but some women, listen, like I'm going to tell you something. Young little boys, If we get rejected from a group, we just go off and play with our GI Joes, Legos, Army men, whatever, and go about our business. But young girls, like, this is a life ender almost for them. Like, if they get rejected from a group, and just cut off, it's almost the end of the world for them, right? When it comes to social status. But now older people, later in adults and stuff, there is a goat insulin. You can get a goat insulin also, I believe. Need to definitely check into that, guys. Anyway, can I do a show about clean and unclean foods? I think that would be an excellent idea. That would be a really good, let me write that down, guys. Clean and unclean show. That would be a really good thing. Unclean show. Boy, that might get some people mad. I'll have to go in on pork right away to get most of the people thinned out of the building that don't want to listen to the truth. But anyway, let's go on forward. In sociology or in anthropology, social status is the honor or prestige attached to one's position in society, one's social position. It may also refer to a rank or position that one holds in a group, for example, son or daughter, playmate, pupil, etc. Right? Well, when you move forward, is that a woman that even acknowledged that right there? Yeah, I think that's a woman acknowledged that. It's true that women can't stand being ignored. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I believe that was a lady that acknowledged that, guys. So, I mean, what I want you to understand in this life is forget society. Okay, number one of the greatest blessings, baruch in life that I've ever come across was this year that I learned, like, the type of archetype in society I am is called a Sigma male. That, like, if you research that, like, right line item, that's bill of goods is the kind of person I am. So I just don't really give a flip about social status, right? But life is a journey, not a race, okay? And Scripture talks about this in Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience. Everybody wants instant gratification in this life too. Got to have patience. The race that is set before us. Hebrews 12:2, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the stake. Oh, y'all see that about slipped up again? Despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. You got to understand that we need to be focused on running our race for the kingdom. That's all that matters to me anymore. I don't have, I let go of hopes and dreams and aspirations and all that. Like, nothing matters to me really at all anymore. And I don't mean that disrespectful or like I want to go out here and end my life and self-delete. Like, it's just not a lot that matters to me anymore. Family, sit up on the beach, on the seashore, read the word, read a book, try to relax. There's just very few things on my list of things to do anymore, guys. Somebody said, these are the best shows. If you're not making someone mad, then you're not speaking the truth. I love it. There's so many comments going on here so fast tonight, guys. I can't even keep up with it all. Sorry, let me scroll down. All right. Right here, moving forward, though. Mark 8:36. For what shall it profit a man? He shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul, his own being. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul, his being? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the set apart angels, the holy angels, right? I tell you what, I want to be working in the harvest and waking people up big time. I'm telling you, man. I mean, I want to be waking people up hugely in the last days and be working hard when the master returns, because judgment is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, judgment is coming, and it's going to be harsh. And let me tell you, there's many of us that does, what is it, that the servant that knoweth to do better and did not, or whatever, is worthy of many stripes. I tell you what, I feel like I need many stripes on that lashing pole. But all I'm saying is, please just don't delete me out the kingdom. Just, I will take the correction. Just please remember me. And number 14, this is very, very important to understand. This is one of the most important points of this entire presentation. And it is coming for everyone unless we are caught up in or that group of people that is endeared to the very end. Because, he that endeareth the end, the same shall be saved, right? Well, there's going to be many of us have to take a dirt nap. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were on point 16. We still got 2 more points to go. Whew, forgive me. Next thing after the social status, all right, is this is a segue from the social status is churchianity, right? You're going to have to let go of your fellowship group. As a lot of people got what I call Joel Osteenism. And that's that mega church mentality. Here's Joel Osteen's church, right? And what the thing is with this is I contribute that just as much to like this right here, a rock concert. Guy's got beer in his hand. And hey, I don't have no problem people drinking, just don't get drunk, right? Don't be a drunkard. You know, like right here, oh, that's a good point somebody just made right there, not to get off subject, but cross-reference all the English versions and use Strong's. That's right. And especially understand etymology on things. That's really important, right? So anyway, I just contribute most of churchianity today to this. As a former deacon in a Free Will Baptist church, elected, all right, and walking away, I look back now and I'm like, it is just crazy to me how that all the things going on in the world today, I can't even look back now and be like, what in the world did I come out of? Because like in the past just 10 years, to me, church has become more of a social scene than it actually a worship place. And 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, but be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness, and what concord hath Messiah with Belial, or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel, and what agreement hath the temple of Elohim with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim, as Elohim hath said, I will dwell in them, and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. We got to come out of it and be separate. I'm telling you, like right here, 2 Corinthians 6:17, wherefore come out from among them, be separate, saith Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Sorry, give me just a second. Yahuwah Almighty, guys. And so Revelation 18, we look at the last days, the book, what it says about that. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Elohim hath remembered her iniquities. Now, guys, before I go any further, I just want to point out very carefully that most church houses, I know there's a lot of people in there that are looking for the truth, but the people at the top, a lot of them know the truth. They have no interest in teaching the people the truth, for the people to find the truth. There's just no way of getting that to the goalpost with some of these places. You got to understand that. You just got to separate and come out of that. Now, this one right here is a definite possibility later down the road. I honestly, for a lot of us, I just almost see it unavoidable. I don't know how to work around it, honestly, in some situations, because persecution is probably going to come at some point so bad that if you don't comply, you're going to get shoved behind the bars. And I don't know what more to expound on that than the fact that, I mean, you look at what Nero done in Roman times, right? To believers, fed them to lions in the Colosseum, right? I mean, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, the future is always indicative of the past, right? And I mean, it is just so simple looking forward that what was will be again. There's nothing new under the sun. And I'm telling you, like, it is going to be really bad for a lot of us in the future for not complying to the beast. They're going to shove us wherever they can if they don't kill us. You know, like, let's go down the line real quickly, shall we? Satan works always by trying to coerce, then deceive, then intimidate, then threaten, then kill. All right, y'all follow with me? And so, I mean, you go down the line with this stuff, and it's just unavoidable. The way I see it, at some point we're gonna run into the trouble with these situations. And right here, none of these churches are teaching on the end times. That is exactly right. If your church is not teaching on the last days, I don't know why you're setting up in the place. I don't. I mean, I can't go back to see the problem I have right now. is the Torah community is so fractured. You have people that does SAT Day Sabbath. You have people that does the Father's Lunar Solar Scriptural Biblical Calendar. Then you have people on a deeper level past that now, like say that they're in agreement on when they want to worship. Well, then they'll won't accept the true Hebrew Israelites, or they will that truth. You know, you just always start going down, and it's at some point you start losing people because there's just so many layers deep that you start losing people eventually. Whereas like you go to church, normal church, just churchianity, I would describe it. Well, it's easy to go there because pretty much anything goes. You know, I mean, it's almost like the beginning of Indiana Jones song, or Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where she's like, anything goes. You know, I mean, I can't even think of the girl's name, the actress, but I mean, she's singing that song, Anything Goes. I mean, that's exactly what's going on in the church house today. But when you really start trying to walk the thing out, suffering will begin to commence. I promise you that, and it will commence very shortly. Right here, scripture says in 2 Corinthians 3:17, now Yahuwah is that spirit, and where the spirit of Yahuwah is, there is liberty. Ephesians 6:8, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of Yahuwah, whether he be bond or free. So, you know, they may throw us in a jail cell. Listen, they done it to disciples. They've done it to servants the most time. I mean, what do you think they ain't going to do it to us? I mean, if they're going to do it to the master, what they're going to do to us? I'd expect anything anymore. And so this needs something that you need to be mindful of. Now, what I was about to say a second ago, and I got 2 points ahead of myself, sorry, on my list, is this the last and final point on the presentation, guys, then I'll chop it up with you in a few minutes before I get off here, is that I want you to understand that this is coming for all of us. That dirt nap is coming for all of us. And like I said, unless we endure to the very end, and we get to see the return of the master at the end of the trumpets and the bowls of wrath. And I really hope I can live to see this whole thing out. Like that would be the greatest gift ever in this current life, is to live to see the end of it come. And right here, I assure you that is going to come for many of us. And we need to be prepared for this, because not only in life, at some point, the meter runs out and our days are extinguished, but our lives might be extinguished for walking out the truth, like be murdered, killed, rounded up, sent to concentration camp, FEMA camp, murdered, head lopped off, guillotine. You know, it can be a multitude of things happen. And the words of Maximus Decimus Aurelius, you know, from that movie, what was it, Gladiator, Russell Crowe was in, what we do in life, it goes in eternity. So if you keep the commands in this life, have faith in Messiah, y'all willing, we'll be in the kingdom. And so death has no power over us. For Messiah says, Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the being, the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in fire, in hell, right? In Gehenna. Because people need to understand, I get so irritated and upset about when people talk about this everlasting burning hell for people, when it says that the wicked will be turned to ash and the righteous will tread them under their feet. Like that's something we need to discuss. Heaven coming to earth and this whole eternal hell thing, but that needs to be a conversation come up too in the future. But Daniel 12:2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Daniel 12:3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Now, right here, one last thing to point out, John 5:28, marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. That right there should be the goal for all of us. And sorry, guys, I was trying to get a melanated Messiah on there. I kind of found a kind of olive guy, but I didn't want the Caesar Bigorius or whatever. Anyway, just use this for example for the moment. But we all should be striving to get that crown of life at the end of this thing. And right here, Revelation 15:12, And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Elohim. Now, I'm going to pull this down. I want to say this to you, that if that list, you go through this live and ain't affected on that list at some point in conjuncture, boy, you need a gold star award. Because in the short 36 years of my life, and just now starting to add some gray to the beard, there is a lot of those I've already checked off. And I imagine the struggle is going to increase with great velocity for many of us in these last days, especially before Messiah returns. And you're going to have to make a decision. We all going to have to make a decision. Is the kingdom of heaven worth it? Because, Messiah talked about before a man build a house, I believe it's a house or a tower. He sat down, he counted up the cost to see if it could be accomplished. And we really need to sit down and count up the cost and ask ourselves, is it worth it, the sacrifice and the struggles and the cost of what I'm giving up to make it to the kingdom? And I still would answer a resounding yes. And the last point I would make, and I've said this before, sorry guys, just 1 second. I've said before, is that you really have two choices in this world right now. Is that you have the opportunity to either serve the Messiah and his kingdom, or you have the opportunity to serve Satan and his kingdom. And currently Satan's kingdom on this earth sucks. I mean, it is just an absolute cluster mess. And that's putting it in non-profane words. This place is a crap show, a hellhole, and I want out of here as soon as possible, dude. Like, somebody drop me a 9 line for anybody who knows military talk. Like, somebody send in a chariot with burning wheels of fire and give this brother a 9 line out of this place, because I'm ready to get on out of here. Hey, Earth is our home. I just want to get out of the turmoil. I want to get on into the new kingdom. All right, I want the new kingdom to come on down here as soon as possible. And guys, I'm going to get over into the your comments here in just a second and start catching up those. But I don't know why people want to, like, people, World's Last Chance made this point real good a long time ago, is that people are content to live and die in this construct pretty much in this world. But I don't want no part with that. Like, I want the Master's kingdom to come, and I want to be counted worthy to be a part of it. And I just don't understand it, guys, because the way I look at it is I cannot deal with Satan's kingdom. All right. So that leaves me by default serve the Most High's kingdom. And I want to do that with joyfulness of heart. There's still things in my life that I need to nail to the stake and put away and further refine my character. And y'all will, and I pray I do that, especially this new year ahead. I think that's a good rededication, is just fine tune anything that's a struggle, just keep nailing it down. But even you serve the Master and say, somebody's like, well, what if you go before the judgment and you don't make it in the kingdom? To me, it was still worth it to serve the Master and try to build his kingdom, because I cannot under any circumstances be part of Satan's kingdom. I just don't want it. I just don't want no part of that. It doesn't intrigue me. It doesn't interest me. And I don't want to be a part of it anymore. Okay. Let the dominion go to the Most High's kingdom. All right. So with that said, guys, that was my 16 points on what it may cost you for the crown of life and the eternal kingdom. Now, with that said, I'm going to back up here real quickly, guys, and I'm going to check out some of these comments you guys said here. So they said, if the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love you as its own, but because you are not of the world, the world doesn't love you. That's right, pretty much. The true word is not religion, it's simply truth, and they will hate you for it. They will. You can tell people the truth. Literally, all you have to do is just speak the truth, and people will hate you. Somebody said, still with you, Brother Lucas. I appreciate that. Count it worthy of the calling of the things we must suffer for the Most High Yah. You are blessed to go through. That's right. You're blessed to go through. That's right, Brother Dorian. Laugh out loud. It's rough out here, man. That's right, brother. It is. Somebody says the show live every TH day. I know your channel from the Hebrew Israelites video posted years ago. Yeah. So the way we do it is we're always on here on the Sabbaths. You can find that by the Looney Solar Scriptural Biblical Calendar app on World's Last Chance. I'm on here streaming at 8 p.m. on Sabbath nights, and then new moon days at 12 p.m. Eastern time, which tomorrow is new moon day plus New Year's Day. And I'll be back in here in the house 12 p.m. Eastern time to chop that up with you guys. It's going to be question and answer show, comments, suggestions for the new year ahead. Just going to be in here to chop it up. That's it. Just coming in here to chop it up with you guys. Somebody said, the good fruits that come from obeying y'all is off the chain. That's right. Somebody said, get used to being hated. Absolutely. And guys, once again, and it's just my that archetype, that character of me is I'm an obstinate person. Like if you ask me to do something, I'll gladly do it. You tell me to do something, it just makes me want to be defiant. It's 12 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, guys. Be back up in the house in here tomorrow at 12. But the thing is, we're approaching a time where the world is telling us to live a certain lifestyle, live a certain way. This is this way, this is that way. And I'm just like, the more you tell me to do something, the more I don't want to do it at all. Like I can figure this thing out on my own. I have enough intellectual sense to figure out what works and what don't. And we're getting to a serious drop off where that just the past 2 years has taught me a lot. Is that if the government comes out and says you have to do this, and the news says to do it, and medical doctors say to do it, and the world says to do it, people run and do it. Now that was a serious wake up to me to show me just how much sheepalism is out here in the world today, because I don't want to part with that. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and the world can either like it or dislike it. But it's just like, I guess one last point I would make is I prayed to the Most High the other day about a situation that had not been resolved for multiple weeks. And I asked the Father for that day I was in, I said, if you are with me and I have found favor, with you, something to that effect, I asked the Father, I said, please let this be resolved today. It was within an hour or two, it was resolved instantly. And I was like, no problem. I was like, and thank you for resolving that problem also. And it's like, we've got to really start calling in to the Most High for help with things, because nobody's out here going to help us. I'm telling you what, dude, like it's a hold until relieved situation. Yeah, somebody said, hit the like button, family. That's right. Please hit the like button, guys. Likes are free. Somebody said, y'all will guide us. That's right. Absolutely. So, guys, I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes in here. If anybody's got questions, comments, suggestions, by all means, drop it in the comments. I'm watching it right now as the stream's wrapping up. Tomorrow, if there's something you want me to cover tomorrow, by all means, hit me up between tonight and tomorrow, because I'm going to be in here looking at some things, writing some suggestions down, shows, streams that you'd like me to cover this year. You've seen like people I'm bringing on here next week. Like I said, Brother West Blaze will be covering the 7 domes. Got this shirt, guys, on from a friend. Some friends gave this to me as a gift. And I think you can find it on, it's T Express or something like that. If you'll Google Obey Y'all shirt, it'll come up. But also, my wife is about to full on go into her t-shirt shop making business, doing a lot of scriptural tees and stuff like that. So I'll be sharing that on here, guys. If you'd like to help support that, by all means, you can get you some awesome scriptural t-shirts here soon too. So somebody asked a good question. Do you have a video on the new moon and days of the week? I'm used to the worldly terms. If you will look, and I know there's hundreds of videos on my channel, but if you will type in Creator's Calendar, Scriptural Calendar, 7 Trumpets Prepper, there's a ton of biblical videos I've done about the Father's calendar. Matter of fact, I have a playlist. I just don't have all of them in it, guys, because I've made so much content over the years. But you can check it out. And I'm going to have Brother, oh my goodness, my mind just went blank. Troy Miller. I have Brother Elder Miller in here later at the end of this coming month that we're in now on the Pagan Roman calendar. I think we're on the new, I don't even know what month we're on on the Pagan calendar. But anyway, I think at the end of this month that we're in right now, I'm going to have Elder Miller on, and he's going to be covering the Father's Lunisolar Scriptural Calendar in-house on that. So that'll be a great stream. talking about the Father's calendar, Sabbaths, new moons, feast days. It's gonna be lit. I really look forward to it, and that's what I really want to focus on this year, guys, is bringing other people in the building that are skilled and knowledgeable and wisdom that, especially to those particular topics, and get them in here and turn them loose on everybody and share the word. That is the thing I want to definitely get out there. Somebody said, will you have 100% shirts? Okay, so yeah, now the shirts, like now what the polyester ones will be like 100% polyester. Cotton shirts will be 100% cotton. So I guess that's where we're going with that. Let's see, somebody said, obedience is essential for healthy living. Absolutely. So, guys, I will see y'all back in here at noon tomorrow Eastern time. Let me see real quick what somebody said here. Said, also, Luke, thank you. If it weren't for you, I would have never truly researched flat earth and had the scales ripped off my eyes. Hey, I'll praise the Most High, y'all, guys, just trying to help one another. Nobody was there grabbing Luke by the hand, being like, hey, bro, you need to look at this. You need to research this. The Most High brought me out of Babylon with set-apart spirit. Woke me straight up in Babylon, got me up out of the place when I started looking into things and research and doing research for myself. So, hey, if I can be a help to people, outstanding. But, guys, see you tomorrow at 12 Eastern time. Celebrate the new year. If you got your shofar, make sure to sound it tomorrow. Celebrate the new year. As always, till we see you again here at Seven Terms Prepper Channel and on the Hard Truth Show, I hope the Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua name. And let me get the outro video, guys. Sorry, I did not have that ready to go. Have a great night. See you.